All right, welcome back everybody to Cool's Reviews. This one's been quite a journey as we're finishing off Chad Kalick's directorial documentaries in 74 minutes. As usual, my name's Keegan. Joining me today is
Sam.
so I will say this one was kind of neat to watch, and maybe just because of the journey that we've been through going through his documentaries. And it almost kind of feels like that nice little bow at the end of the story. Like
Mhm.
it kind of takes a lot of the stuff that you see and wraps it up or calls back to it. Like it just feels very, very almost nicely synchronized into that final loop. We see callbacks to American Ghost Hunter. We see callbacks to his mom's story, his story from that one. We do see obviously a blood red sky. We see quite a few stuff from that one. We I guess really only hear Sir No Face. We really don't hear the other two mentioned, but it is filmed much in that same style, like him up into that, just his face talking to you. So it feels again like we're bringing that one on. Like this is like a continuation, and yeah, it's almost been like a journey for us, and as well as you can journey with him. So it's this one was kind of neat. I will say that. I'm not sure if it's my favorite off the bat.
What's
Blood
your
Red's,
favorite? Because Ryan's in it partially.
but yeah, it shows Ryan Buell as well as Chip and some of the other Paranormal State, people, as well as we see what's his name, Joe from not
And
only
Justin in it.
yeah, Justin's in there, Joe's in there, and I guess they were in like another documentary, and I couldn't really find much information. It was like Terror Normal, I think is what it was called. We see a lot of footage from that, especially in the beginning. And then, of course, you see some of the locations. Well, not some, the locations that were mentioned in a lot of the other documentaries. So you see that Vizilla Axe Murder House. You
Mhm.
see, the Chillingham Castle again. And then you see a lot of, I'm sure if
See the
you're,
warehouse as well.
yeah, where the, what's that, depot? In Iowa, where the skirmish was said to have happened. Um,
Alright.
But then there's a lot of other locations on here which are kind of neat for me, I guess, just because I have been there, and so it's like, oh, I just see that and I can instantly remember kind of some of my experiences. So that would be like Waverly Hills. It does show the Stanley Hotel at one point. Me and Colin and Mark didn't have any experiences there, but it was really neat and super cool hotel. Lots of good history, good food. So we'll be back at some point. We got some stuff to talk about there. But yeah, Waverly, definitely a ton of EVP or purported EVP evidence on
I
here.
mean, you guys just did their tour. They seem to do like an actual investigation there.
We did an investigation. We had all our equipment.
Well, I mean, you did, but like, I think they were kind of seemed like they were able to like free roam it.
Well, we free roomed.
I don't know. I wasn't there for that one, so
Now this was a
from what
long
you were
time
telling
ago.
the group, you were just telling about like just the tour
Oh
opposed
yeah,
from actually investing there.
no, yeah, no. I tell the tour difference between that and Waverly just to kind of show the distinction between the two.
Oh, okay.
Whereas the Stanley Hotel, anytime you'd ask a question, it was always like, "Well, you can find out more in the gift shop." Whereas in the Waverly Hills, you'd ask a question and they'd be like, "Yeah, let me take you there, and you can see where it happened." So it's just that difference of experience. It did bring up Tina Mattingly, who's one of the owners of Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's someone that we've met. Me and Colin and my dad, we went there. Not even, I mean, after the tour, but it was a completely different day. And we just got to talk to her for a long time, so that was really neat. And then there's also the Queen Mary. They talk about, which is something our families, experience and stuff. I know my and then went, I think on Halloween even, they have like a Halloween like a haunted house theme set up on the Queen Mary. So yeah, some cool locations, and I'm I think my rating won't have to do with the evidence as far as like how I feel about it, but more about like the story. And I do think it really tied it nicely and shared a lot of different places that I'm sure is going to help those places out with like people going and visiting, which helps, it helps keep them in business, helps maybe do some restorations, keeps the buildings around for
Mhm.
more people. So that, I mean, that was neat to see. Sam, what are
Well,
your thoughts?
no, I kind of enjoyed this one as well because like there was a lot of like I don't know, in some like the scenes that we saw before, it was like explaining it more now. So you heard stuff that he didn't put into those other videos, and so there was more of like a backstory to it, and like more of as we were discussing in like the last one, with like the sea, it like it showed more of them trying to like take it off, and it makes more sense. And then the owner of like that one, like the caretaker of that church, explains that that little girl does that like frequently, so it kind of seems more legit. I don't know, it seems more interesting because it was like explain more. So I liked it. I mean, we got to see Keegan's favorite part where he was talking to that post.
Yeah, the two by four. I was like, as
Yeah,
soon as they brought up the axe murder house, I was like, oh, that's totally the one. Like, because me and Sam were talking about it, and we forgot which one that was. And then when they brought it up, I was like, oh, that's totally where it was. I'm like, please show it, please. And they did, and I was like, hell yeah, the two by four returns.
no, it was pretty tight. The to just see like some of the other stuff that they had caught that like either we just didn't see or like he has it somewhere else or like didn't want to like post it anywhere. Because I don't think I've seen anything about them going to Waverly. And once I saw that they were talking about Waverly Hills, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna find some stuff there. And they
Yeah,
definitely had like a lot on there.
yeah. No, at some point we'll have to make a compilation of like me and Colin's trip there. And this was a long time ago, so I do apologize, viewers, when you watch that. It's a long time ago. We were much younger, and it camera quality wasn't as good. But yeah, we definitely caught some EVPs, and you could see things during the day, even, which is something that to me just sets Waverly completely aside in its own realm because it was just so active in a time where most people won't think you'll see things during the day. We saw things like, and that was so cool. I know at one point we had it scheduled, rented to go investigate Waverly. Unfortunately, our job at the time wouldn't let us take the time off, and so. But hey, it's a whole new time. That's a long time ago. We kind of are the
I
we
mean, we were
dictate.
kind of the entire front end. So,
Yeah, yeah, because it would have been you, me, and Josh, and at that time Jeremiah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremiah was, Nick was, I think, a little bit.
Oh yeah, Nick Nappy. Yeah, yeah. It would have been just the entire front end's just gone. What was messed up was it was like approved, and then they're like, nah, because it wasn't even
Yeah.
like a whole day or something, or a whole week or something like that.
No, it wasn't in like an entire week, but it would just have been like too many for them to have gone or something.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
It stunk,
They
but
had
hey,
enough to do.
we now we make our own schedules. We gonna go at some point.
True.
I mean, Kentucky's really cool, and I know this is gonna get off topic a little bit, but as far as paranormal goes, Kentucky has been one of my favorite states for that topic. I mean, not only for ghosts, obviously we got Waverly Hills, you got Bobby Mackey's Music World, got some of the other old like hospitals, um, underground railroad stations and stuff like that. But then you also have a lot of UFO stuff. There's the story of the UFO that crashed into a train out there, and then
Mhm.
cryptids. I mean, it's beautiful out there too. So I mean, there you can go to places and not see houses, and I mean, you definitely see some out there. There's cryptids, lots of cryptids, whether they're real or not. But I mean, it's just that mythology and the lore between like Bigfoot's, Goatman's out there. Colin and I have been to the Goatman Bridge out there. Underneath it is the street's called Hell, which is kind of weird. But yeah, no, I mean, we'll get out to Kentucky. It's a little bit more feasible than some of the other locations we've talked about, but yeah,
Mhm.
that maybe that's like a year from now. Then 2 years we'll go to Chillingham Castle. What's also kind of nice about this one, I guess, even if it's because I mean, even Chad says people are going to think it's real or not. So whether you think it's real evidence or you think it's fake, I think it's nice how it's split up as far as
Mhm.
EVP, second part's photography, and then third part is video. And then you're not jumping back and forth between the different evidences.
All in the beginning of it, but he should warn for flash, like a flash warning, because like some of
Mhm.
them he would just like not have. He wouldn't have like the video playing, and then it'd just be a black screen, and then it would just like flash white when stuff is happening.
Oh, when he was like taking the pictures and stuff.
No, when like at like Waverly Hills, he did it a couple times with like the walk or that person running up at them. It was just a
Oh,
black screen.
yeah.
So there should be a flash warning on there if there's not.
Yeah, so if you guys are watching this and have not watched it, which is kind of weird to watch the review, but hey, maybe that's what I mean, I guess I've done that, so
That's
it's
what
not too
Keegan
weird.
does, so that's not weird at all.
I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I'm like, how bad is this thing? Just be aware, there is some points where there is some flashing lights, so just be careful if you that can affect you in any way. I will say it's nothing like groundbreaking evidence, but perhaps maybe that makes it feel more real too, because
I mean,
nothing's
some of
like,
them are pretty good.
but it's nothing like Sir No Face like level, if that makes sense. Which Sir No Face I didn't think was great evidence, but it's nothing like that. So I think at the end maybe that makes it feel more real, because you would think you'd if it was fake, you would try to make it more fantastical. I kind of always use that with Pat Garrett's story of how Billy the Kid died. Like he made it seem like he was scared and it was kind of like his only opportunity to do it. And if not, Billy would have killed him. So
Yeah, because if Pat Garrett, I mean, he might have like exaggerated a probably a good part of his story, but there's definitely probably some truths in there.
well,
Because there's probably some things that were exaggerated. Like
in
I, I don't.
the beginning of the book is definitely exaggerated because it's all like myths and legends or just like writings that people might have heard. And it was written by Ash Upson, who was like the ghostwriter that wrote the beginning of the book. And then
Mhm.
Pat wrote his portion, like what happened when he got involved. So I mean, definitely that part, but I think a lot of people know that, and a lot of it was because even to this day, there's a lot about Billy we don't know. What
We're off topic.
for me, I don't know if it's like my favorite, but I think it's up there with a Blood Red Sky. It's one of my top two. We'll figure it out. This isn't like going to be our definitive rating yet. Like, I mean, we'll give it a rating and everything, but when we go to rank it, like, I'll sit down, think about it a lot more, and let these kind of settle in because we just finished the series, so I want to let it settle in, give it about a week, and then we'll come back and do our raid. Yeah, we're gonna film that one next Friday. So how do you feel about the directorial style of this one?
The same as all of them, kind of. Besides, like the one that was like his first one was like first one was the most brutal of the three. The rest have been like pretty
Yeah, I mean,
or brutal.
he's definitely gotten better. I think this one at times could feel like like a just a supplemental piece, but at the same time, it doesn't. If that makes sense, like it just feels like I could see where people are like, it's just a compilation of all the evidence, but that's what it's supposed to be. So I mean, it accomplishes what it sets out.
I mean,
So
that's exactly what he went into this like, telling that it was. So if you if you're upset with that, I don't know why you watched it to begin with.
I mean, who knows why people get upset sometimes? We watched it to be completionists. It I don't know if there's too much to talk about other than there's evidence, there's some cool history, and some cool locations. It does tie it up perfectly, like I said. Sam, do you have like any final thoughts outside of those?
Seeing a compilation of his evidence because like it was pretty neat to like it's I don't know as an investigator ourselves, it's nice to like kind of look and see just like watch it and like have our own opinions of it and just seeing how their team reacts compared to ours. It's quite fascinating to watch others like capture stuff. And I mean, Keegan's biggest thing is we usually have multiple cameras in one spot, or at least try to. And like seeing people with just like singular cameras, like each person in their group like has a camera, or is it's always interesting because like yeah, they don't like can't capture everything, which given, but like it's still fascinating because maybe sometimes when we don't capture things is because we have everything, like we're not giving it room to like show itself.
It's always good to cover all sectors. That way you can always like, because there's always going to be skeptics, and
No, that's
it's always
true.
good because they're like, well, how do we know it's not someone just running in from this angle? And you're like, well, here's the camera. You can match up the time.
True. Or like a lot of the times what they do is like they have their group in one spot, so you see the whole group there, and then someone with a camera, which could be something that we could try and do sometimes too, where like our group is like if we do solo, like go in there by ourselves, like have it shown that the whole group is there, and then that one person by themselves.
Yeah, but I still think it opens you up to like skeptics.
I mean, so they're
But
gonna get that regardless.
you get it regardless. But when you can like like be it's more like CYA, right? Just making sure like because you know they're gonna come, and it's good to have that, to be like, here you go, here's the proof that no one was in it, because they're always gonna be like, well, someone was in it, or the times don't match up, you film that separately. It's TV, you can film anything separately, blah blah blah.
No, sure, whatever.
I know a lot of the camera stuff, and no, not a lot of like set X cams or DVR systems is more a sign of the time when a lot of that was filmed, because you think a lot of that, the evidence with even like going back to Blood Red Sky, that was filmed in what, 2013, so almost 10 years ago. I mean, you look back at how we investigated 10 years ago, it was pretty similar, because you start out from little money, so you don't have a lot of that stuff, to you
True,
know you work your way up, and then maybe you can afford some more stuff, or you just slowly build up through time, like we
true.
have. I mean, that's how we've built up. I mean, we don't make tons of money or nothing. It's all funded by our day jobs. Kind of like, I know they said that at some point in one of the documentaries we watched.
I think it
Of
was Sir No Face.
Yeah, it was either Sir No Face or American Ghost Hunter. And I know I just say that because I know they say like almost the same text at the beginnings. Yeah, honestly, it could have been both. Like it's probably both.
Possibly.
I don't know. I mean, sitting back, having done this journey, which was kind of fun. We've never sat down and just watched a director's like entire filmography before for
Well,
reviews.
as far as like a documentary style,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
doesn't he have
I've,
other stuff? I mean, I guarantee you, if we look, there's probably a bunch more that he's been in.
not really. If you look at, as far as directorial, the only other things are TV series, uh, Ghost Prophecies and um, Paranormal State, both with Ryan Buell. He's written another thing, but I think it's just a regular movie. And then he's produced some stuff. But yeah, as far as just watching someone's filmography as a director, this was really neat. It's a neat thing that we sat down and did. It obviously was not our intention when we started this one.
True.
Uh, our intention was, we didn't even know much about Chad. We just knew about Two Face the Gray. And
Hmm.
then looking into it, we found out, oh, that's the second one. So then we started at Sir No Face, then did Two Face. And by that time, obviously, we knew there was a third one, so we did Phantom Rider. And I'm not sure where it started. It was either Two Face the Gray or Phantom Rider, where we were like, let's watch all of them. And you know what? I think it was something
Say
fun, and I
that
think
'cause, like I wasn't expecting to do that,
I didn't
but
expect to do that.
you kind of brought up the idea of like seeing if it's how he always directed his films, and then that's kind of how we started it. And then we just were like, well, you know what? We already this far, might as well just do them all.
Right. I mean, we've tried to be completionists on reviews for like TV series and stuff, but this is different because this feels like someone's journey, and it was a really cool experience. I might not have liked a lot of the films. Some of them I was lukewarm on, and a couple I was like, they're not bad. But it was still fun nonetheless. And like I said, as soon as it started, this one, it felt like that, almost like that Avengers like Endgame, where it was like connecting the whole thing, right? So it was really neat. And it's something I hope we do again soon with other directors and stuff. Look at their filmography. Some of them, it's a little easier with directors, especially with documentaries. They don't do as much usually. Same with some filmmakers. Some who do like actual Hollywood movies and stuff, they don't do a lot. So yeah, I think this will be a fun little exercise that we've enjoyed and we'll probably do again at some point. We have some ideas of people. It was recommended by Sam, so I took that into account. I was like, you know what,
Yeah,
I got to listen.
not ended. I just assumed you were going to do that one next, just because of how much you've talked about him in this series, Keegan.
Ryan Buell. Ryan Buell only has three things.
Um, yeah, there's somebody you talked about way more
Yeah,
in the like beginning, like
I
way
was
you had like it was a borderline obsession. It was like,
well. It was I was just trying to compare it to something similar in style, I guess, or similar in like how
they
I.
are not some anyway.
Oh wow, yeah. So
Promoting his videos by saying he's going to weaponize you.
so perhaps this is a sneak peek if you guys have lasted this long, but Sam is talking about doing a Jeremy Corbell. I know this has been his dream since we
How
watched
many
Bob
does he?
Lazar.
Wait, how many does he have?
All right, so he does.
I don't like that. Don't like that. Just like it's like 17. Oh God, no, we're not doing that.
So the difference with Jeremy is a lot of his are shorts, which usually mean they're not very long. A lot of shorts are like 5-10 minutes. So honestly, it'd be kind of interesting. We see like the anonymous interview, Las Vegas, Nano Man, Lazar, which you guys probably understand, Bob Lazar, Space Drive, and then it gets to a documentary, Patient 17, which is one we've kind of, I guess, jokingly talked about doing when we did Hunt for the Skinwalker. Um, so yeah, that'd be like his first like actual documentary, and then Hunt for the Skinwalker, Bob Lazar, Area 51, which we've done those two, and those are all the ones that are out currently. But this is where it kind of gets fun because we're now looking at what's in production. There's Extraordinary Beliefs, in Indelible, Looking Up, Moonwalker, Immaculate Deception, Truth Embargo, and the favorite finale, Storm Area 51. I mean, luckily for you right now, there's really only one other documentary we haven't watched. So that wouldn't be too hard. We would just be like, hey, here's his
All
three
right,
that we've done.
Keegan. Look like we're going to be doing tomorrow.
Jeremy, if you're listening to this as well, if you wanna join us on Cool's interviews, me and Sam would love to have you. I mean, honestly, I think we would. You've been able to talk to some cool people like Bob Lazar. You went to Skinwalker Ranch. I think Sam and I would like to hear some of your stories. Chad, again, I know we've been saying it this entire time, and we got some more time to talk to you about it. But if you want to come on, talk to us about the different experiences you had, the different documentaries, and maybe your experiences with the two TV shows. That was our review for, I guess, the final one for now of Chad his films. This was 74 minutes. Sam, what is your rating and recommendation?
Um, just like the last one, I'll probably give him like a. I'll definitely give it a 7, and I would recommend it. It's pretty cool because he tells you that, like, I mean, you could believe this is fake or take your opinion, but it's basically your opinion. Like, what we experience is what we experienced, and like I kind of know that stuff from our experiences because like we've experienced stuff that we couldn't capture on film, and all we have is just what we can tell about it, but we don't have any proof of it because there was one where we were asked to stop recording and then our stuff got completely wiped too. So
That was a bummer.
there's times that there's times that where we talk about it, but we don't have any proof to show anybody because it's just gone.
I think at least a 5, maybe a 6. And maybe that 6 is for the journey that we went on. It was life changing, I think. No, but I honestly like when it started, and I texted this to Sam when it started, but I was like, this could be the best one. And I think a lot of that had to deal with just like it felt like everything meshed together.
Mhm.
Like, and maybe it is because we've watched them back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah,
But
basically.
it is cool to see them all come together as like one story. And I was thinking, I was like, you know what, that to be continued at the end of Phantom Rider kind of makes sense because even though this isn't about that story, it continues his story. It continues it in the same visualization, like style, like it's framed the same way, like it looks
Hmm.
like it's probably filmed at the same time. And so it is that continuation. And at
Kind
the
of looks
same
like this
time,
film, right? I
it
thought.
it probably just about the same year is what I was thinking, but it just brought everything together. Like it brought everything from the past. It mentioned people that I wasn't sure weren't going to get mentioned, you know. But it brought people that you didn't even see during the other documentaries. It brought them up. So it was a fun ride. I'm glad we did it. And like Sam said, and like I've said, I think this won't be the only time we do it because I think this is fun for you guys. And perhaps it sets us apart and gives you guys something unique where we will sit down, we'll go through them all. You guys can watch them. Luckily for you guys, you know, I know it's a tough time for a lot of people. They're free on Tubi. So, you know, you can go watch it there. And, you know, it seems like at least Chad and I'm not sure if Craig anymore, but recently Craig. And I know Ryan's touring again, but hey, you can at least still go talk to these people. So, I mean, that's kind of cool compared to some of the stuff that we talk about where it's old history and a lot of those people are gone. So, hey, if you're fans of them, go check them out. But until next time, if you want to see more Cool's reviews, obviously we've just done a bunch of Chad films, but they'll be up on the left. Upcoming, we'll have a little break from maybe doing one director. Maybe we'll do some kind of fun B movies or something like that. If you guys want to see more about what we're doing here at Cool's Paranormal, click that link to the right. This is going to be a fun year. We got a lot of fun things planned. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a
Wait, what?
subscribe. Do
Give
the
us a
note.
like and subscribe. Switch that notification bell from personalized to all. If you want to see all of Keegan's dinosaur films coming up, um, they're going to be quite entertaining.